Hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Do you ever find yourself feeling a real sense of impulse? Like an idea will pop into your head and then suddenly you have to do that thing. And here's the interesting thing about impulses. They don't last very long. In most supermarkets, they will have the chocolates, the candy, right by the checkout because people will, on an impulse, buy something and they will pay for it if there is minimal friction. But they're not willing to go 1 minute and go to the aisle and buy the same thing. And a lot of people have this belief that somehow they are beholden to their impulses and their cravings. And that's not true at all. Impulses are fleeting. There is a short desire that doesn't last very long and then it fades away very, very quickly. And this hypnosis session is all about empowering the client that I worked with, but now you listening to this, to feel more in control of your impulses, that you can acknowledge an impulse, a craving, a thought, but not need to do anything about it. And there's various metaphors and techniques used in this session, but at its core, it's about thinking about what kind of person you really want to be and what quality of life you actually want from that. And the key thing is to think about what's going to give you a better quality of life. Impulses generally are fueled by short-term gratification and dopamine hits, whereas what really gives you a sense of pride is having the version of you that you want to be closer to the version of you that you actually are. And that's really the definition of self-esteem, the contrast between the ideal version of yourself and the current version of yourself based on your perceived values. So if someone values wealth and they're just as wealthy as their ideal version, they're going to have very high self-esteem, but it might be body shape, it might be something else. It's your values. Now, this session is all about really fueling that kind of long-term commitment, that discipline to break free of those impulses. But it was created for an individual. Therefore, some of the suggestions are going to sound pretty specific because that's the client that I was working with. So just ignore any suggestions that don't fit with what you're looking for and hone into those ones that do. And if you do like the idea of working with me directly to have a bespoke customized session just for you, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule a completely free consultation call. We'll chat over Zoom and who knows, we might end up working together. For now though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that slow, long, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, feel that wonderful feeling of release, as if your mind can just slow down, as if thoughts are just thoughts. And a breath is just a breath. And as you exhale, continue to release any worries, any doubts, and any fears. And start to breathe in a feeling of clarity, of deep self-trust, of a feeling that things are rarely right or wrong, true or false, that most things exist in the shades of grey. And the moment you bring nuance, with it comes discernment, evaluations, and in doing so, you get to dial down intrusive thoughts that become compulsive emotions. So as you breathe in that calm confidence and clarity, and exhale those feelings of doubts, worries, perhaps even thoughts from the past that no longer serve you, feel a cleansing happening, that it's now safe and okay to let go, and to reawaken that feeling of trust and confidence that you're wiser now than you've ever been. Breathing in that relaxation, exhaling that tension. And as you breathe out, allow your body to relax even more. Noticing the muscles in your face, your shoulders, your hands, unwinding, releasing. In fact, set the intention to relax your skin on your face, there on your forehead and your cheeks. Because the only way you can relax the skin is by relaxing the muscles beneath them. Breathing in relaxation, exhaling tension. And as you exhale, just let go of everything that doesn't belong to this moment. Because here, right now, there is nothing you have to do, nothing to resist, just an opportunity to observe. So your mind can begin to drift to that state of quiet awareness, the state where thoughts may come and go, but you remain in the center, like the calm depth of the ocean, where surface waves ripple and crash, yet far below, it's always peaceful. In the past, you've been the waves, but now, you are that calm depth, and the thoughts, not you, are just waves. As your body relaxes, your imagination awakens, and I wonder if you can imagine walking into a bright, spacious showroom. Polished floors, with shiny lights reflecting off beautiful cars. And these cars can represent a thought, a desire, perhaps even a doubt. Some appealing, some strange, some powerful, some unnecessary. And as you walk around this car showroom, you notice how easy it is to be drawn to one, to look closer, to imagine what it might feel like to take it for a drive. But you also know that just because a car looks desirable doesn't mean it's a good decision to own it. Some have hidden problems beneath the paintwork. Engine faults, bad history, high maintenance. And you smile to yourself because you realize that your mind works the same way. Thoughts are just models on display. And you can admire one without buying it. You can acknowledge it without taking it home. And you can observe beauty without losing discernment. Because you are the one walking through the showroom. You are not the car, not the salesman, and not the impulse. You are the observer, the chooser, the driver. And as you look through this impressive showroom, it dawns on you, even if these cars look good, none of them would be a better choice than the one you already have. And sometimes it's good to make that evaluation, so you feel grateful for what you have, because you can see something and not want it, or want it but not buy it. All the choices are yours. And there you are in that showroom. It dawns on you that thoughts can be anything. A thought of desire, a thought of fear, a strange random image, a memory, a fantasy, a worry. But they don't define who you are. They don't reveal your true self. They're simply tiny electrical impulses in the mind, just data passing through consciousness, often showing symbols and representations of things you already know. And I want you to imagine, just to prove that thoughts can be anything, I want you to imagine a multicolored penguin dancing in the corner of the room. You decide the colors, and you decide how that penguin dances. And you can even give a voice to that penguin. And just because you can think something doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't even mean that it matters. It doesn't need a narrative, a meaning, an explanation. It's just a thought. And if a dancing multicolored penguin can be a thought, anything can be a thought. And what if the thoughts weren't the issue, but the meaning you give those thoughts? Because you've thought some things in the past that made you feel guilty or create doubt, that could start off a loop or a worry. But these are built on the foundation of sand. The moment that you realize thoughts are just thoughts, and that you decide the meaning, any of those emotions can disappear, to evaporate, to dissolve, to become nothing. From this moment on, any or every time an intrusive thought appears, just know that it's just a thought, not a truth. That it doesn't mean anything, that it can just be noise. And your job is to discern, of all the things that you think, which thoughts are useful, which ones require your attention. Imagine walking through a busy city. People trying to sell things, adverts. I want you to get a sense that there would be So many distractions, so many people vying for your attention, just like your thoughts. But you get to decide where your attention goes. And in that busy city street, it would be the most outrageous or most emotive things that were said that might get your attention. The same is true with your thoughts. You think of 1,000,000 thoughts a day, but most of them carry no emotion with them, and so they're quickly forgotten. But only the ones that are seen as wrong, as bad, as not allowed, create enough emotion to fall on your radar. But when thoughts aren't the issue and even emotions aren't the issue and only behavior and decisions matter, then you get to dial down all of the emotional intensity, as thoughts are just thoughts and emotions are always temporary. Because the mind produces the thoughts, but only you get to choose the meaning. You choose which thoughts to entertain, which to release, and which to ignore entirely. And I wonder if you could imagine just for a moment an old-fashioned radio. Perhaps you remember the ones with the big antennae and the dial to tune in to frequencies. I wonder if you could imagine that your mind is like a radio, constantly tuning and looking for frequencies, and each station represents a theme, maybe attraction or doubt, a memory or curiosity. But you get to tune in or tune out. When you tune in to your ambitions, your desires, your plans, your goals, you notice more alignment and more fulfillment. But if you happen to tune in to your fears, your doubts, your worries, your insecurities, that can create loops where you get stuck on a channel. But you can tune in and you can tune out. And the old pattern was like being stuck on one of those stations, perhaps of comparison or noticing, judging or comparing. Wondering if something or someone might be more exciting, more beautiful, more new. But comparison is a thief of joy and presence. It distracts you from the richness that already exists in your life. So imagine dialing that radio in to a new frequency, the frequency of gratitude and appreciation. And maybe you begin to notice the depth, the beauty, the uniqueness, all of the wonderful qualities in your partner. The small gestures, the warmth, the connection. And maybe you come to the conclusion that intimacy, not gratification, isn't found in novelty. It's found in real connection. And the deeper you go, the richer that connection becomes. And the more you invest of your time, energy, and emotions, the more you receive. And as you relax even more deeply now, you might sense that there's a part of you, a part that sometimes feels restless, impulsive, curious, or compulsive. Perhaps a part that used to use porn or fantasy to meet an emotional need. maybe for excitement, for variety, or perhaps to escape, a substitute for real connection. And I want you to imagine inviting that part forward. Imagine you're in a small room and you invite that part, free of judgment, just to be understood. And when that part responsible for intrusive thoughts or compulsive behaviors is there in the room, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to thank that part, not for its behavior, its thoughts or emotions, but for its positive intention. That even before you know what that positive intention is, you know it comes from a good place. And when that part accepts your gratitude, your appreciation for the intention, then ask that part what it was really trying to do for you. And perhaps it's to help you feel alive, to help you feel free, to help you feel wanted, to protect you, or to connect you. So again, thank that part for its intention and not its method. Because this part was never the problem. It's just a messenger. And now that you've grown, you can meet those same needs in more meaningful ways. You can feel alive through connection. You can feel free through self-control. And you can feel wanted through authenticity and openness. And that part no longer needs to pull you towards old habits, because you've evolved beyond them. There are things you used to do as a child or a teenager that you don't do anymore. Didn't require any big decision. Didn't require any discipline or willpower. You just grew out of certain things. And what if porn can be one of them? What if that gratification of seeing someone is just a habit that you can grow out of? What if those compulsive, intrusive thoughts are also a habit that becomes part of your past when you move beyond it? And I want you to invite the part responsible for all of those compulsions and intrusive thoughts to no longer be a lone wolf, but to join your whole system. A system that serves your values, enhances your integrity, and brings you deeper peace. And now return for a moment to that car showroom. And just imagine a shiny new sports car catches your eye. Sleek curves, immaculate polish, beautiful design. And you could admire it, even desire it. But now you see beyond the surface. You sense what's underneath. The hidden costs, the breakdowns, the depreciation, the regret. It's not wrong to notice beauty, but it's wise to see through it. And just as a skilled driver ignores distractions on the roadside, you now focus on the journey you've chosen. Your relationship, your growth, your integrity based on your values, no one else's. so that no desire can pull you off course, because you understand that not every thought deserves a destination, and not every feeling deserves a following. And most important of all, not every impulse deserves an action. I want you to get a feeling that everything lies on that spectrum of shades of grey. You decide what's okay and what isn't okay. You decide what you're comfortable with and what you're not. You decide what crosses the line. Because if everything crosses the line, then it's understandable why you would feel guilt or shame or regret. Because there is no line of discernment. And I want you to get a feeling that perhaps a good line is if thoughts and feelings turn into action that becomes damaging either to yourself or others. Maybe that's a useful line. And I want you to get a feeling that you have no desire to cross that line. Your thoughts are just thoughts, and you choose their meaning. You are not defined by what comes to mind. And you can notice beauty without needing to chase it. And you release comparison and instead live in appreciation. You can meet your needs through connection and integrity, not through gratification and delusion. You are the driver, and you know your destination, and you trust yourself completely. I want you to imagine going forwards in time, perhaps a month or 2 months, and just imagine noticing someone attractive. But instead of any tension or guilt or intrusive thoughts, you simply observe and move on. No story, no meaning, just awareness. And then imagine that a thought arises, an old pattern, maybe a flicker of impulse. But notice that you can just frame it as just a thought. And when it becomes just a thought, it loses its power, enabling you to return to presence, to gratitude and connection, so that your energy flows where it belongs, into life, love, and purpose. And when you feel that you have more ability to be discerning with your thoughts and emotions, that you're going to be fairer on yourself as to what meaning you give things, and to keep your eye on the prize of the future that you truly desire, rather than being distracted by things that are not as good as what you're pursuing anyway. And when you feel that calibration is taking place, almost like your internal operating system is being updated to the latest version, not the teenage version, not you in a previous relationship, but all of that wisdom and experience is updating your operating system now. Then let me know by nodding your head. That's it. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are you now. And everything in the past is either wisdom or experience that can help you in the present and your future. It's time to leave this place. You could admire the cars without needing to drive them or buy them. And you can acknowledge your thoughts without needing to respond to them. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.